Good evening, passengers, and welcome to the last flight to Cybertron.
Hello. Each week, I am trying to develop my character into a non-cussing entity. I don't think today's the day.
So today we're going to talk about Rescue Bots. Is it good?
Yes.
Is it the best in the series?
Technically, yes. Execution-wise, yes.
All right. Show's over.
Goodbye. Thanks for coming. Jump off. Jump out the window.
Your
Bye.
parachutes are located below your seat. Well, what makes Rescue Bots so different from so many shows? You know, ever since animated, every Transformers show seems to have like a 3-season curse.
Yes.
Yeah. Where it just can't last. So what makes Rescue Bots different? And we're going to go into that.
Well, first of all, Rescue Bots has came out in 2012, ended in 2016. It was running alongside the Transformers Prime cartoon continuity, and as well as through RID 2015, actually.
Yeah.
And it's had tie-ins to both. Yet it stars a non-main cast with completely new characters for the most part.
Yeah.
New human beings, a lot of them too.
Yeah.
Like a lot more, I would say arguably a lot more than normal that take part in the episodes way more frequently than I think freaking Spike Wiki. I don't know. But anyway, it's important to take notes, guys. But it's important, this will be on the test, that G1 capped off at, I believe, 96 episodes or something like that. And I believe Rescue Bots made it to 104 total run, which is
lasted
important.
Longer than G1.
So, no, I'm kidding. But for a property that has gone and traveled as far as it has, Transformers is it's never been left alone as far as IPs go. But I will say that, unfortunately, I kind of feel like Rescue Bots was a bit of a peak in the era it came out in. I'm not saying G1 was a low point or something, but in recent years, nothing has really topped Rescue Bots in terms of what they're delivering on. It never went out of its way to make these stupid promises in their trailers or over-interacting with fans or anything like that. They didn't get swept up in all the controversies of, you know, is Knockout an evil gay? Like, he ain't even here, so good show already. I hate him like he's real.
Counterpoint to that,
yes,
is I feel the reason why Rescue Bots is so good and is so successful is because, unlike other shows who try to interact with their fans, and even some comics we've mentioned in the past, unlike these shows and comics that try to relate to older fans, I'm going to go off and say that Rescue Bots is the best thing that has come out since animated. Rescue Bots and animated are on very close terms to me, because what both of those shows managed to do is they managed to hit their target audience.
I mean, yeah.
And they never once
compromised
on any of it. I might be biased because when we looked up the writers and
I'm gonna knock my tea out of my hand.
the writers and everything else, I already knew some of the shows that they had worked on, and that I was actually have written stuff about them, like Miles from Tomorrowland and those kinds of shows. So these are writers with very high track records with the age of children that they're trying to connect.
They've also, a lot of the producers and writers and stuff are brought over from Prime.
Yeah.
And, but however, most of the episodic writers, episode to episode, are actually quite... I believe they're not really like much of the Prime ones at all. I don't recognize a lot of the names, actually. So you get basically the same sort of gut crew behind the production of things, voice actors aside and cast aside and things like that. And you get two different deliveries. You've got Prime and you've got Rescue Bots.
Yeah.
Two different age bases they're trying to hit. different levels of animation, different execution, different story, and Rescue Bots is a very successful example of originality.
Yeah.
And also a good, what do you call that? Kind of like the very opposite end of what Siege and all the adult-oriented Transformers properties are trying to do right now, like Siege and stuff. Where like Siege is repeating the same story. War for Cybertron is all the same crap over and over and over again. And people are literally like, stop. I know where this is going. And it's boring.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to do anything new or bring anything to the table, why are you telling the same story again? Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to hear the same joke over and over and over again. You know what they do like, though, is being led down a pathway and finding out, oh crap, this actually goes somewhere totally different.
Yeah. And that's the thing about Rescue Bots is it hits that formulaic process that kids enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it doesn't take children for idiots.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
It doesn't sit there and baby them. And the thing is that if you ever wanted to answer the question of can Transformers exist outside of a war setting, Rescue Bots is yes.
I mean, for God's sakes, people have been asking for pre-war anything for so long, and it's ironic because we keep saying that, like, a lot of the people that are manning these projects are like, you fans, what do you have to say? And they're getting these god-awful answers. And yet they're listening to them, but they're not listening to them. It's kind of like they want the project to stand on its own feet, and then they start fishing for literal just BS from the fans. And I'm like, stop. You don't need to put in a reference to memes. You don't need to... Don't date yourself like that. That's crazy. That's just...
Cyberverse.
Oh, God. Cyberverse is a thorn in my side.
Yeah, and the thing is that, especially with Cyberverse, I've seen what Boulder Media can produce with Danger Mouse and Amazing World of Gumball. So to see that studio come out with that property.
Well, I told you I don't think they're writing it.
Yeah, I have heard that they're not writing it. But it's just like a cringe factor for me to be like, I know how far you.
Well, some of the crap that they've that Hasbro's been getting away with for so long, and it's like, man, I wish that they'd had writers from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because they kind of keep farming from this same corner of the internet. And I'm like, please stop. I'm begging you. Yeah. Like, get outside.
Go someplace else.
Go outside, get some air.
And
go
the thing
someplace else.
Is they went someplace else. They went to a team. It is a wife and a husband team of writers and producers. And they made successful things in Rescue Bots. And
the people that are writing for Cyberverse are not from Rescue Bots.
No, they're not. I'm saying that the people in Rescue Bots are from the different place in the internet that the people from Cyberverse
I wouldn't even argue that they're from the internet at all.
Yeah.
They're just people. They're like grown adults that have kids, you know. They put the very mild, like, references to video games and stuff, things that were popular and still kind of are a little bit popular right now. And they can get away with it because they don't get carried away.
Yeah.
So when I'm watching it, I pick up on it. I'm not so sure like a 7 or 8 year old might fish out they make a joke about shipping, but it's the joke itself and the way fans reacted to it was not like, haha, lol, gush and blush. Oh, they mentioned a shipping. They know about us.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even like that. When people like were sharing that content online and they were gift setting it, and it was basically like, oh, Danny's the shipper of the family. It should be noted that she is the only female in the Burns family at the moment. And instead of playing the joke off of like a super hardcore tongue-in-cheek, like, you know, we know what you naughty fans are up to. Instead, it was very much like, shipper? What's that mean? Oh, she's just really into boats. And it's like, doo-doo.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's like, y'all could have gotten somewhere horrible with that. So I appreciate that you made a funny joke that an adult fan would be like, lol, but wouldn't be like, oh, gut busting because you're making fun of something or whatever. It's passable. It's mild. It's innocuous. It's fine.
I wouldn't say. But the thing is that what I think I should start with like a list.
Oh God.
Of what Rescue Bots gets right. It's formulaic, but it's not boring, which is amazing for children's media. So it hits its target audience.
But it continues to push the envelope a little. I don't know if push the envelope is what I mean to say.
It adds continues a little to push more.
It adds a little more every single time. And every single season is bigger in the sense of growth than the previous one.
Yes, that's what works in children's media, especially for the audience that they're trying to hit. So they know their audience, they target their audience, and they execute it well enough. Anything that they manage to have an upset with, like an unpopular episode or an episode that maybe someone else writes and it doesn't go over well with the target audience, they will immediately bring in a new episode and be like, okay.
They'll kind of like correct course.
Yeah.
So that's something I like, because I think there's only a very few handful of episodes, maybe less than 5, that I tend to skip a little bit more often than other ones, because I'm just like, oh, maybe it has a character I'm not super into, but it's not like I'm sitting there going, God, not this one again. Like, it's never redundant, and they don't copy themselves or copy other shows. They just kind of go with their own flow and tune out everything else without ignoring it, because I think they knew that people were immediately going to say, oh, so Optimus Prime is on Earth for Prime, and then he's a couple years later, we're starting Rescue Bots, and he's with them as well. Oh, is there some sort of continuity there? Like, people were just curious. It wasn't like they were niggling about it, and they were like, I have to know for my fix, or some crap. God. They were just like, oh, I'm just curious. Like, is he manning both teams? Like, ooh, interesting. It just opens up a world for the fans that have come from other corners of the franchise of like, oh, I just watched this. Oh, I just saw this. Oh, I wonder if this has anything to do with it. I know a lot of people wanted Heatwave to show up in Prime, which, that would have been cool. But he didn't, and that's fine. And instead, later on, they had they had Bumblebee and Optimus. They mentioned Ratchet, and then they had Sideswipe from RAD come over for a little bit.
And Blur.
And Blur went over to their show.
Yeah.
That's a fun episode of RAD. It's a little painful, but I like it. So,
How would we rank the theme song?
The fact that you absolutely must say it when it comes on the screen, I would say that it's catchy and punchy, and it's fun to sing. Yeah. Like, you don't even have to be doing it ironically. You're actually like, a routine patrol!
4 bots and stasis.
And there's memes about that, because people are just like, it's damn good.
Yeah. And the fact is that, listening to that theme song, you already, one of the writers wrote that song.
Yeah, which I like.
You can already tell she's setting up every single time the show opens. You're getting a recap of what's going on.
Yeah, I will say sometimes if I'm not paying any attention, I'm like, oh, the theme song's playing. And I'm like, oh, right, yeah, Optimus or whatever.
Optimus Prime
kind of
told
blanked
them
out
to
there.
rescue, and that's what they've been doing. And, it's a little weird that they have so many rescue missions on such a small island. But
oh, yeah, The thing is, though, is that becomes a joke. Like, the show becomes self-aware, but not in a cocky manner. It starts going like, wow, this island sure has a lot of troubles.
Yeah.
And it's funny, because it's aware of itself without getting too much of like, huffing my own gas here.
Yeah.
It's like, please don't do that.
And here's one of my things, is that I feel as if, Hasbro is staying with the preschool, elementary school audience with this show.
I think they kind of think they hit it big there.
I mean, they hit it correct. That's the thing, is that they managed to keep that audience.
But
for how many seasons?
4.
Yeah.
However, I feel like they thought that they could age up a little bit and stick with like Cyberverse. And I was like, well, Cyberverse is just, there's something Hasbro can't do when it comes to like people below preteens.
I think they can't do preteens
audience at
and
all.
Teens. I think they can't do preteens and teens, because
they really can't.
The problem
lately, at least,
is that, I mean, they think that's what the movies are for.
Which I think is kind of strange, because if Transformers has shown us anything, it's the fact that people could be fans of it at any age.
Yeah.
It's just about, I guess, the scope of what we're trying to hit the nail on here is that, are they hitting who they're meaning to?
Yeah.
I would say most of the time, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But they have all these outlier fans that are actually not really outliers. They're there in numbers, that are adults or, in their early 20s. Some of them are in their mid-30s even. And
Some
you've got
in their 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, I love Rescue Bots. And I'm like, me too, fool.
And that's the thing, is that Rescue Bots, it hits its target audience, but everyone can put up with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which, I feel like sometimes aesthetic shows can work.
Mhm.
Prime was supposed to be kind of dark, and I think they went too dark for a little bit, and then they went too hokey, at the same time. And I'm sitting there like, man, I would have been on board with one way, but not both. Yeah. Not simultaneously.
Prime, unfortunately... I'm wondering if Prime had some internal problems.
Oh, no, I know it did.
Oh, okay.
I think people know by now kind of what's been going on. And they've been asking at cons for God knows how long about, what's up with this? How come this isn't mentioned anymore? What's up with that? Who's this character? Did they disappear? Are they dead? And I know that they were planning to go a little bit longer, but I think they kind of...
They self-sabotage. That's my biggest problem.
I mean, they kind of did a little bit.
They self-sabotage. Middle of season 2.
They got too Tumblr-y. And the thing is speaking of formulaic when it comes to Rescue Bots, is that Rescue Bots gently expands the universe.
Oh, yeah.
At a comfortable level for kids, as well as keeping things interesting enough for, if I was a parent, I would definitely sit down and watch Rescue Bots with my kid, because it's not boring. No. It's not like, today we're looking for my lost sock. It's not that childish. Yes. It's like a kid knows what it's like to be, Cody is the youngest in the family. Everyone looks down on him, and he's just trying to be a kid, and he likes tech. He likes playing video games. He likes going outside and playing sports. And, I see some of myself in him, too. I can remember what it was like being, I think he's supposed to be 10 in the beginning or something like that. And it's like, yeah, I vibe with that. He's not too outlandish.
Right. He's a normal kid.
Yes, and his family members are pretty normal people, as well as having their own individual personalities, but somehow are still a cohesive family unit. His dad's cool. Long live Chief Burns.
I will say, Chief Burns had my heart the moment he wore that
the freaking hula girl apron. I love that thing, because it's just so, it's right there, but
it's
you're
such
just
a dad move. And that's the thing, is that a lot of the show is these people are normal, because they're not being thrust in the middle of a war.
And their dialogue is normal. Yeah. It's not forced jokes or forced quips. Everything's like a normal conversation, which I think is actually more appealing to children's ears than something that's force-fed to them. Today, we are going to, that's probably Barney programming level, but it's hey man. But in terms of expanding the universe, Prime, on the other hand, fails because it gets repetitive instead of formulaic. They're we're hunting relics, one at a time for 6 episodes straight, without revealing anything new about the characters. Yeah. And then it gets really dark at the end of season 2, and then everything's the same crap over and over again between late season 2 to season 3. And the movie... Oh, God, don't get me started on that dumpster fire. If
I could burn the original, I would.
That was so upsetting, because I would sit and watch a Rescue Bots movie, and I know it would be better crafted than the Prime one, for God's sakes. I mean, it's just a shock to see where the energy goes and where it works versus what shows end up getting the axe. And it's we're just going to focus on Rescue Bots for a while. And, they've continued that level of success by, I think, kind of going back maybe a year or two and doing Rescue Bots Academy. Yeah. So they were like, this show is doing well. We're going to have a continuation of it. And then RID, meanwhile, was the continuation of Prime. And yet, it didn't hit any of the markers that people wanted to. There were so many unanswered questions in Prime, and RID 2015 was supposed to kind of answer some of those. And it didn't do any. No. So if you're if you're not going to expand on Prime's storyline, what's next then? And they kind of just muddle about for so long that you're just what's the point anymore? Yeah. To the point where they drag it all the way back to Cybertron, and it's almost kind of they realize, oh crap, we need to wrap this story up.
And my biggest problem too with RID 2015 is that first you have these characters and you'd be okay, we have Strong Arm, and she's a by the books girl, and we start to see her slowly develop. And then later on, it's hey, here's this episode where all of Strong Arm's character development happens in one episode. But then in the next episode, it's forgotten completely. Same with Sideswipe.
That's the crap I can't stand. Because Rescue Bots is really good about that. Yeah. Where if they learn to do new things, they will incorporate them later. If they will even do callbacks to other episodes. I was watching one today where Danny was remember when you and I saved this guy she's got a crush on? She's remember Blades when we saved him? And I remember the episode.
Isn't it the one where the plane?
No, you haven't seen it. Okay. Oh, yes.
It was the plane one.
I'm talking about you haven't seen it. It's opening of season 2 is when she makes that joke, and He's like, oh yeah, but I don't remember his name. Weird that you do. Little sus there. And
Blade's is every girl's best friend.
I like him. He's friendly to me. Seems like a cool dude.
RID has 2015 has an issue in it where, you know, Danny...
You don't understand where it's going.
Well, no, I have an issue with the female characters represented in RID 2015, whereas I don't have an issue with Danny in Rescue Bots or with any of the girls like Whirl that they brought in for Rescue Bots Academy, because...
I like Whirl because she's she's goofy, and you don't really... It's not
really
totally common to see goofy girls in young kids' media. And when they do introduce adult characters like Professor Baranova, she's smart. She's cold and rigid a little bit in the beginning, but she's smart. Like, it's stuff that makes sense. She was isolated in the water for so long. Frankie's cool.
Amazing.
Frankie's cool. Yeah. Good POC representation. Same with Doc Green. He's not a girl, obviously. But, and... You know, and like even the mayor's wife, who's suggested very obviously as being a trophy wife, even she like knows how to do complex math and stuff. Yeah. Just as like a one-off thing about it's like an offhanded comment about the Miss Griffin Rock pageant, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you won, my dear," you know, and you had to do the freaking advanced speed calculus or whatever. And it's funny because I'm not saying like every woman has to be perfect. Like, there's things Frankie's character can't really do. She kind of gets trapped in her own bubble sometimes and ignores her friends. There's an episode coming out that you haven't seen yet. Presently, she has not seen season 2. I've seen all of it, backwards, forwards, with subtitles in Spanish, because I went on Daily Motion. So,
but the thing is I've seen everything that I need to see.
I mean, yeah, you've seen enough to make a judgment call, I would say, but I wish I could have had you watch a little bit more, so to speak to the show's overall growth seasonally would have been interesting here, because Optimus actually becomes quite an important character later on. I think it's because they realize kids really like to see him.
He has a calming voice too for a lot of kids. I know that sounds weird, but the thing is that his voice really, I've kind of noticed throughout the ages, really just kind of like gets kids' attention. And I don't know if that's just because he's like found a voice that like kids really like, but you know, as we said in our, you know, kind of first podcast, he's just got a very one-of-a-kind voice that people maybe don't see in their day-to-day, so it really grabs kids' attentions. But the thing is that I trust you when you say that there's growth episode by episode, season over season.
I wish I could speak to it because I want you to see it so bad, and I guess I could just make it vague. By the end of it, you basically see, you know, especially especially bots like Heatwave, who's like, God, I don't really want to be on this planet. I'd rather be on Optimus's team if I have
to. I'd rather use a gun and say the F word.
Yeah, but at the end of it, he literally is like, I would be glad to sacrifice myself to save these people. Yeah. Like, it's just tremendous because they don't force anything like that. They don't force the growth. I don't know if they knew how long it was going to go for. I think maybe they were guaranteed to have 2 seasons, maybe. And then, you know, as it progressed, they're like, hey, you know, it's going pretty good. We're still pulling in some dough here. Yeah. So have another.
The toy sales were really good. I know that.
Those toys are actually a little hard for me to find. It's been a while since I've, like, looked for them. But, yeah, they were all over Toys R Us when that place was still going.
Toys R Us, Walgreens, you could find them in Target.
I have like a weird, I found Chase, like a McDonald's Chase.
Yeah.
In like a weird, I don't know what that was. No, he's not. I call it a McDonald's one, but I think he's just play school. Oh. But he's small and he's got his power-up claw on, and it's just so funny because I'm like, I found you in like a garbage can somewhere. And I was like, oh, Chase, grab him. Oh, he's mine now.
Like, I honestly can't wait until, like, kids get nostalgia factor for Rescue Bots, you know?
I always wonder how much, I mean, like we talked about before,
we don't really unique compared to everything else that's going on.
I mean,
right
to
now.
me it is, but at the same time, I always have to, like, you know, like, get out of this little, like, corner of the universe I sit in where I'm like, how many other kids on average know about Transformers? I mean, I think a lot of them know the term and the name, but, like, depending on what age group you're asking, like, I mean, there's still kids out there that are growing up without cable and stuff, and I remember... Okay, you fail to understand what I'm getting at. I'm just saying a lot of kids aren't there's still kids that are not exposed to the internet. They're not exposed to accessible cartoons and things like that. They just watch what their parents are watching or their older siblings are watching or whatever. So for me, there's a lot of people that reflect on animated and even Beast Wars and stuff like that. And I'm always sitting here wondering, like, what's going to be the next show that does that in Transformers for people younger than we are? So it's like, I'm just curious to see where that would go in like 10 years. Like, are people going to be like, Rescue Bots?
Y'all remember Rescue Bots?
Because that show has so much high tech in it as well that it kind of ages nicely. It's not like, everything's a little like goofy and outlandish in terms of like, he makes like Doc Green makes a freaking shrink ray.
Yeah.
They play with a time machine.
It's a minimizer, first of all.
Shut your mouth hole. Minimize that mouth. Minimize that sass.
So the thing is that it's creative, it's original, it's formulaic but still expands. To me, it's got a banging theme song.
It's also not afraid to have characters be characters.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's perfect. You're not expecting anybody to be perfect. That's where you get all this playing off between the fact that Cade and Heatwave don't totally get along, and Blades and Danny hit it off kind of rocky, but then they're like thick as thieves, and Boulder and Graham are like, just have this very strong level of respect for each other's intellect, and out of that comes an emotional bond as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so interesting. And then, I don't know, I would say, like, I think there's more stuff to pick at, definitely in, like, seasons 3 and 4, maybe. It's, again, though, it's to serve the purpose of, like, not everyone they meet is friendly and cool. It's a kid's show, but people are allowed to be mean.
Yeah.
Dr. Morocco is pretty freaking evil. And you see Madeline Pinch also, and her daughter, oh, God.
The Pinches.
Yeah. Them Pinches. People, and then, like, even within the Burns family themselves, there's times where, like, they rag on Cody in a way that
and
really,
Cade and
like,
Heatwave will still fight, even no matter how good their relationship is.
Yeah, because it's like, it just heat of the moment, you say something, or you're sad, so you draw in on yourself, just behaviors that you would see in real life that a kid can understand. Like, oh, Cody's being ignored, so he's kind of going off by himself. Yeah, I see that. I do that. Like, it's...
And if people get frustrated because they're like, well, every episode has a happy ending, these shows are meant to teach children normal behaviors.
There's nothing wrong with a happy ending. They got plenty of time in their adulthood lives to be depressed.
So things like conflict resolution is something that you can learn from that sort of thing, where you're like, I'm mad at them, and they're like, I'm mad at you too. This is how we resolve our issues.
I need you and your skills, and you need me and my skills, and when we work together, we can get more done than we can apart.
Yeah. Teaching each other, giving each other, understanding of each other's customs
and differences. It's like, oh, you're different than me, but it doesn't mean I can't get along with you or like you.
It's like Blades likes TV.
And like nobody else does.
Nobody else does. Boulder likes books and art and painting things. He's my big green art boy.
Gart. Gart boy.
Chase is Chase.
Chase is a special lad. Yeah, like Chase is super, like, I wouldn't say emotionless, but he's very transfixed by law and order. Dun dun. And so everybody's like, God, Chase, give it a freaking rest.
Yeah, and the White Lies episode where he's like,
see, that was an episode that definitely made you go, wow, I like the depth of problems in this show and the depth of resolution. And sometimes it gets, like, you're actually on the edge of your seat, like, oh, are they gonna kill someone? There are 2 separate episodes I can think of besides that one where she literally, like, you think he's going to die. And it's interesting because a lot of kids shows play it super safe to the point where you're just kind of like, why are people watching this?
Yeah.
Like, it's too safe. And that's not to say it's different than, like, the, what do you call it? Controlled anxiety. But you don't get tired of the original characters either. They're interesting enough to stand on their own, and there's a lot of them. They have a wide ensemble on that show.
Well, they have their 4 main characters, which actually I wanted to bring this up.
For Rescue Bot's
main characters that really follow the 4 humors of storytelling, which I think was very clever on their part. Whereas Transformers Prime Transformers already tried to do that, and they failed. And this is why they failed, is because you would have an episode where Strong Arm or Sideswipe or Grimlock would have some sort of character development. And then in the next episode, that character development from that episode
just
would mean
disappeared.
Absolutely nothing.
Sideswipe is an example of, like, no development at all. And as a result, dude, I hate that character so much. He is just...
I liked him earlier in the series, but by the second season, you start to hate...
When he keeps pulling the same team sabotaging crap, you're just sitting there like, why are you still doing this?
Yeah.
And there are times where Strong Arm is reduced to basically being nothing but like a thorn in his side. But even her character gets, inch and a half way more development than he does, and... he's just so freaking stagnant. Most of the characters on that show are stagnant as all hell.
And I feel like that's what went wrong in Prime, too, is because you hit this point in season 2 where they would do these feature episodes, and then it would be like, you didn't see any of that anywhere. And then they tried to make it dark and gritty, but then, I think they hit peak humor with that Optimus Prime joke where they were like, hey, you want to see something funny? And he said, no. And then it was all downhill from there.
Kinda. They just got too caught up in themselves.
They
and
did.
Then they started relying on the fans too much.
Way too much.
And they had a lot of internal problems that Rescue Bots just didn't seem to have any of that drama going on with it. Which, I mean, that could have been luck. I don't really know. None of us can speak to what was going on behind the curtain there. But
it could be because Rescue Bots, unlike Transformers Prime, was hitting their target audience, making relevant content for their target audience, and not underestimating the intelligence of said target audience.
Yeah.
Which I feel like Prime sometimes does. You have these kids who do nothing but get in the way, whereas in Rescue Bots, you have a kid who is actively trying to create a relationship and a rapport with these bots. Be like, yeah, I know my family can be troublesome sometimes, but I have to deal with them too, and I sympathize. Like, just how different the human characters were in Prime versus Rescue Bots, I think is a very good understanding of how much Rescue Bots wrote people to be normal. I want to bring up an episode that was in season 1 called White Lies. This is one of my favorite episodes from that season, is because you have this adult character. A lot of times in Prime, you would have, like,
all the incidents and accidents are from the childlike characters, like Smokescreen, or aside from just the normal
Bumblebee,
humans.
So in Rescue Bats, you have this adult... Did I say Rescue Bats again? I'm sorry.
It's better than when you used to say Rescue Barts.
So you have this thing in White Lies, and the thing is that I think this the episode really resonated with me because this is something that my parents had to explain to me, and unfortunately, it was coming from someone who was,
you didn't really like very much. So,
yeah,
let's be honest.
Whereas this television show puts an adult in a situation where a lie
puts them in danger. They lie. Essentially, Chief Burns lies about where he's going with Chase, and as a result, when he is injured and stuck down there with Chase in this little, like, cavern thing underground, they can't get to him because they're like, well, he's not where
all the wrong places.
Yes, they're like, well, we checked here and here and here, and that's the only places he said he was going to go, and then they find out eventually that, oh, he went somewhere else, and him lying cost them time to rescue him, and he almost, like, got seriously hurt. More so than he was before because of his inadvertent lie, which he goes so far as to say is, it's not harmless, Chase, it's a white lie. It's different than lying. And Chase is like, oh, a lie is a lie in my book. And so, of course, the lesson there is, always tell people where you're going. Yeah. And that's not, I wouldn't say that, like, they're not even super overt about it. No. When we first watched it together, I didn't even pick up on that.
Oh, no.
You were like, hey, I like the morality here, I like the level of, responsibility it's teaching kids without shoving it down their throat and telling them how stupid they are.
Right. It's not Cody that's getting,
always in trouble. It's like, hey, even adults make mistakes.
Even adults...
It happens.
Tell like white lies, and this is the reason why when it comes to this specific situation, you should not do that. And that's also what I like about Rescue Bots, is that it's formulaic and routine, which the target audience for this, I think it's elementary level and like kind of like kindergarten level kids is that it's formulaic and routine
without being redundant and boring.
Yeah. And
which is something that both Prime and RID got really horribly wrong.
Yeah, unfortunately.
RID 2015 got stagnant as all hell, and it was only really interesting when they got back into like, oh, well, what do people want to see? And it's like, well, first of all, it's supposed to be continuity of Prime. And yet you didn't answer any of the questions that Prime did not have the chance to answer.
You changed like 6 characterizations.
I mean, God, it was just like flipped on its head. It didn't make any sense at a point, and then it's almost like they were surprised when they were like, oh crap, we gotta wrap this back up. We gotta take it back to Cybertron. And season 3 just like takes off like a rocket, and you're just like, what the hell? And whoa, somebody grabbed that. And Prime became redundant and boring when in season 2 they were like, let's get dark and gritty with the relic hunting, and it was just so boring, and the characters didn't.
It was repetitive, not routine. That was the biggest problem.
The characters you didn't learn anything about them by having them isolated and not working with who they'd normally work with. Right. You didn't learn anything else about RC and Bumblebee by them being in the tunnels and facing Knockout. You didn't, vice versa. You didn't learn anything about Knockout either. You didn't learn anything about the Insecticons other than the fact that you don't like them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not development. That's a character's opinion on something that doesn't actually reflect an inner belief. It's just, I hate them. And it's like, oh, all right. It's not like I hate them because XYZ and, have it reflect back on him later, And of course, and it just got darker and darker and stupider and ironically cornier it was weird. It's just the way it, and then God, the movie was such wasted everything.
Rescue Bots movie.
Oh God, Rescue Bots movie. I would watch a Rescue Bots movie. I don't know what it'd be about, but I'd watch it no matter what because it's freaking fun and it's different than controlled anxiety where you can kind of watch things get horribly out of control. Everyone has like a comfort media for themselves. However, Rescue Bots, like there are times where they wrap their problems up and their solutions to things are like, it's like, damn, how did you guys even get to that? Like, I wouldn't have thought of writing, as a writer for a show, I would not have thought of some of the stuff that they do. And I'm consistently, when I rewatch things, I am genuinely surprised, and it's still fresh to me, basically every single time. So, I guess that kind of leads us into, if we're going to talk about a little bit, like, the marketing stuff behind it and how it gets to kids in the first place. Cyberverse, on the other hand, whereas Prime and RID and all that stuff came out pre-streaming services being this prominent, you kind of get this thing where, first of all, they're not even available past season 1 on Netflix. I don't know why, really.
You literally, okay, so to purchase Rescue Bots, you have to buy a collection of, each DVD has 4 episodes on it. And I don't even think they have all 4 seasons. I think it's just 1 and 2 complete. Mm-hmm. It's $120 to get the DVDs.
Which is insane because it's like, I know DVDs aren't a hot item anymore for marketing or making your money back on stuff, but it's just like, I would totally be buying their seasons if they had them, but they don't.
The Amazon price?
Oh, God.
Is $50 for seasons 2 and 3. $35 for seasons 1 and 24.
That just seems kind of insane when you think about like,
it's $160 to buy every single season of Rescue Bots,
which is crazy. I don't get that.
Which drives their traffic to the YouTube page
because people are like, if I can't watch him here, where can I watch him? And the Transformers official page, though, I've got a lot of qualms about them. First of all, they definitely partake in
something called black hat marketing. It's something that kind of came over from like systems and things like that, where once marketing became about data, a lot of, that's why you see those Instagram like meme
those meme pages and those content farms
where they
just crank out garbage,
they're
or
usually
they take
like hawking an ad,
or they take stuff from Tumblr and like Twitter and they just paste it, and I hate that stuff so much.
Well, the thing is that that's black hat marketing, and unfortunately Hasbro, whoever is involved in their marketing department, has started to do that with their YouTube. They have, so the Rescue Bots episodes that are extremely popular. I looked at the
they've got one about Danny, and it's called like, Girls Get Stuff Done, and it's basically a compilation of a few, like a handful of episodes that feature her prominently. They are shown out of chronological order, and I've even noticed that some of them don't even fit the themes anymore.
Right.
They'll just have like 4 episodes and then call the title of the video whatever the first episode is. And it's insane because like kids are literally playing that crap in the background most of the time. Like it's an hour-long or more block of just TV basically, and I was looking at stuff earlier today where I was watching something from season 2, and oddly enough, it was actually on Transformers Official, the whole episode without any interruptions. And I was like, wow, weird. And within 4 minutes, I had 2 long, lengthy ads. Yeah. Routinely, when I watch several episodes, like in my headphones, while I'm working or whatever at the computer, I get ads so much that it's more distracting. Yeah. It's like drives me nuts. And they're always for either stuff Hasbro makes or they are for toys like Nerf. Yeah. And occasionally you'll get the odd, like, I saw one for respiratory disease today, and I was kind of like, who the hell is this for? Which makes me feel like nobody's paying attention sometimes, but that could just be a fluke for all I know.
That means that the reason why they put out Cyberverse is for ad revenue. And they specifically will make clickbaity titles, will make, I don't want to say cringe content, but content that, how long are those episodes? They're 10 minutes. Yeah. So 10 minutes.
And they're released weekly. It's not like a Netflix dump where you can just boom all at once.
Yeah. So 10 minutes is actually part of a magical YouTube algorithm. So
magical.
The fact of the matter is that kids, when they are watching things, when they are on their iPads,
parents' tablets or whatever,
parents' tablets, or even on the Switch, a lot of times, especially on the Switch too, the autoplay automatically goes. You can't skip ads, so you have to sit there and look through them, and then pretty much I can set my Switch down and walk away from it. Yeah. And it won't, unfortunately, they have taken advantage of this fact. I think you were talking about a live stream.
Yeah, under the same, so in the same stream of thought, like, yeah, I scrolled down in the suggesteds after I was finished, and they were all from the same channel of Transformers Official, which is kind of unusual. Yeah. You usually get all sorts of crap down there.
Even Mattel segments their YouTube channels between, like, Barbie will have specific Barbie content, that kind of thing. So
I scrolled down and I noticed that somebody was like doing a live watch for Rescue Bots where they were like just streaming it live. It had 20 watchers.
Yep.
And I kept scrolling a little bit and I saw that a 2.5-minute clip for an episode where Blades and Cody go into a video game VR thing. And the thumbnail was of Blades getting eaten by a shark, which is not the main segment of that episode at all. And they called it Shark Attack! Transformers Rescue Bots video games such like, so they're already like SEOing the crap out of the title.
They're keyword loading the title,
and that clip had 3 million views,
which tells me that they're using the same marketing techniques as like 5-minute kid crafts and things like that.
Yeah, they're putting something interesting there with little to no context, and then when you watch it, you're like, oh, the shark part was like 10 seconds of this video.
Yeah, and the thing is that kids are going to watch it all the way through,
because they're just like, where's the thing I was looking for?
And there are other channels that have like explored this and been like, this really is exploitative.
And we're not trying to say it's like dark and insidious, but it tells you really kind of how Hasbro views
their
the people
audience.
that people that pay them money, and it's I wouldn't say it's very flattering. It's not unlike a lot of companies nowadays, but the fact that Hasbro knows that they are a kid-friendly company and the stuff that they pull, I just don't get it. It's like, who the hell is okaying all this? Like, as an adult, I've been on the internet long enough to know shit when I see it. Yeah. So for me, as soon as it started doing that, and I had been watching seasons of this years ago while I was working or when I was in school and stuff, and I was never accosted by these many ads, by this many like phishing stuff where it's kind of like you watch part of it and then it keeps freaking going. And there's like a bunch of black and it's like, oh, we're just padding up the runtime and doing all this weird underhanded bullshit. And I'm sitting here like, this is for kids, you guys. Like, and what the hell? Like, I've got pretty high tolerance, but a kid is just going to click, 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 click. And it's almost like they're kind of hoping they'll click on something else. And it's just like, as long as it's your own, huh? Like,
As
they're
long
just
as you
farming
show
for
them,
views, basically, is what they're doing. They're just wringing every last marketing data factoid they can get out. And the thing is like, bruh, most of these kids are not sitting here watching stuff in the way that you're like, oh, they like this because they're watching. And I'm like, they might just be playing that shit in the background while they're on there reading or doing whatever the hell. Coloring. And left the tablet on autoplay and they went out of the room for an hour. Like, it's like, man, you guys used to make shit that was good and character driven, and like the toys was kind of like, it was never an afterthought, but you wanted to make sure the show kept going so you could introduce more product and merchandise. Like, I would buy like a Rescue Bots lunchbox or a backpack if I was a kid. Absolutely. I have a calendar from the dollar store in my room. I don't care how loud that is. I'm very upset.
Well, it's frustrating too, because, you know, now that I feel like Hasbro has this collector mentality where they're like, okay, Rescue Bots is over. We're not going to make any more toys or any more, you know, anything.
Any more merch.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, you've still got people on Amazon watching this. You still have people streaming
interested in looking for DVDs and stuff.
And you have nothing for them to purchase. And for a toy company, that just seems like a bad idea.
It's kind of like they feel like they milked it for all it was worth, and now they're moving on to Rescue Bots Academy and stuff. And it's like, again, like,
I haven't seen any toys from them either.
Because of their stupid ass, because of the way that they, what was I saying right before this?
You were talking about Rescue Bots Academy.
I hate myself. I literally just like shit out my last thought, and I'm sitting here like, duh. It'll come to me, and I'll definitely interrupt you with it. And I'll be like, hold on.
I mean, my biggest thing is that when it was out, they had age-appropriate toys. One of the biggest problems with Transformers Prime toys is that you have these fiddly bits that kind of like snapped apart when you mess with them too much. No offense to 12 and 13 and 14-year-old boys, but they are not good at transforming them.
I'm not even good at it. I have to look up information. And if it ain't visual, I'm like, get this shit out of my face. I need to see a video of somebody holding it directly in front of themselves in the exact position I'm holding it. I want there to be zooms so I know what's going where. It was definitely like, we want people to collect this. And then good for them, because Megatron's like $150 online, so cool for you.
That worked out well for, not for you, because it's a collector's item, but people are making money off of it after the fact. You could be making $117 on a Megatron if you sold it. It's like, people...
I don't get why it's like, I understand that they want to keep it limited, and they're like, oh, that's what keeps the value up. But at the same time, I'm like, bro, they're still kids. Like, people are introducing this stuff to their children. We're talking 11 years after Prime came out.
And here's the thing.
They are introducing it to their children now.
They have made partnerships with companies that have proven time and time again that you can... Disney, with their Star Wars. How much Star Wars, Black Series, and all of this stuff that Hasbro makes is Disney going, hey, we just re-released this old mold from like the 1980s, and it tanks the value of all this collector's items, because they don't care about how much the collectors are making. They care about how much they're making right then and there. And that's the thing, is that I don't know why Hasbro isn't learning from these companies that they partner with. In order, if people want something, if they want to buy it, like, maybe don't sell the Transformers Prime art book in physical form anymore, but maybe have a digital download for people to pay.
Yeah, if you're gonna make it limited, I mean, at least try and move with the times. Like, dude, come on. Like, it shouldn't be this hard to find. Like, I understand Prime was marketed at a little bit of an older audience, and then they found out that like adults were really into it, and so they kind of tried to capitalize and piggyback off that.
Unfortunately,
and And the thing about Rescue Bots is I'm like, well, this is still for kids. I mean, it's...
But anyone can watch it.
Yeah, but you can't... I'm saying, the merch and the availability of content in terms of what you're, It's like, well, I want to introduce... If I had kids, I'd be like, let's watch Rescue Bots together. Like, it's good enough of a show to keep you as an adult entertained, at least somewhat. Yeah. And for your kid to learn something from it, too. You're just going to see it from two different perspectives. And there's a lot there that you can dig on. So, I mean, I don't get tired of rewatching Rescue Bots, but the fact that I can't get DVDs and stuff, and the fact that it's not really all available online. Like, Dailymotion fails me more often now than it ever has. And they're riddled with ads too now, and it drives me up a wall because I'm just like, man, guys, 2 years ago I wasn't having this problem.
Like, if I wanted this many ads, I'd go to some sort of skeevy site.
Or a man opens his coat and he's like, hey, kid, you want Rescue Watch Season 3? And I'm like, what'll it cost? A kidney. Done.
So it's one of those things where the reason why Disney is so popular is because maybe that one thing that you know, maybe you can't buy the masterpiece level Heat Wave, but you can still buy something that kind of looks like it.
The Play School Heat Wave. He's like 2.5 inches and he's like this big brick. Ugh, I love those.
He's my man.
He's my man.
There's a little ladder in the back of him.
I don't know, I guess it's weird that we even got on this topic, but the thing is, like, we like Rescue Bots a lot. Like, I've been a huge, long-time fan of it since it came out. And however, she has not even seen past season 1 yet, but, like, she's on board as somebody who's, like, studied this stuff. She's really into this. And it's important because, again, Transformers is for little kids. And I was like, yeah, but look at what Hasbro let that show do. And yet, they haven't returned to the same level of success since. And it's like, you guys already had a proven formula here.
Yeah,
and you just
an original proven
and you
formula.
just screwed with it. And you screwed with it. And you screwed with it. And the fact that
you tried to get the fans involved of certain ideas, and it just doesn't work. And the thing is
I think that's kind of their undoing lately, is they spend too much time on the internet. And I'm like, y'all need to just not let your fans influence. Like, tell the story you came out to tell. Do not listen to them. I beg of you. Because I don't mean to be an a-hole here, but they don't tend to have great ideas on the whole.
Unfortunately.
So if
they had great
you guys
ideas,
are in control of the property.
Them.
Do with it as you want to do. Make sure you handle it with care and you say what you want to say and deal with the backlash on your own. Because if you had a great idea and then you let half a season tank because you wanted to go crazy with the memes, like, that's on you now.
Yeah.
Like, that's on you and the fan. Why did you do that? You don't have to listen to them. I mean, I understand there's a level of general feedback you're going to want to, it's... But don't sit there and farm them for ideas because you're going to find a lot of...
Or farm them for ad revenue.
Which is, that's just... Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little... Of course, like, we're used to in this day and age for companies, like, selling our info and all that stuff. Like, it's not far off. But, like, we're talking about children's...
This is kids' info.
We're talking about kids here that are dicking around on the internet. And it's like, all right, be careful.
So I would say that Rescue Bots is probably one of the better shows because of the theme song. Because you have these...
Stop it with the goddamn theme song.
You have these 4 characters who develop over 4 seasons, and from the beginning, their attitude is different from the end, but they're still themselves, you know?
They all branch out and then branch back in together. They're all different with their different personalities, but they all work together and understand the greater goal. And the humans are exactly the same.
Yeah, they're an effective team. So...
Everything, the show is just the best thought out. It's original. It's the best thought out.
We don't have the war. It just goes to show that you can have a really good Transformers content outside of Autobots versus Decepticons.
And that's the problem that I think the whole war for Cybertron dumpster fire is suffering from right now, where they keep telling the same BS over and over and over and over and over again. And it's like, dude, you've literally retold the same thing like 3 or 4 times. The comics are even still talking. Like, move on, dude. If you're not going to bring anything new to the table, do not keep telling the same freaking story.
My biggest problem is that there are scenes in Earthrise and Siege that are like almost ripped directly from other shows. And it's like, I don't want to see that. If I wanted to see that, once again, I'd be watching it. But
I'll go watch the original. Thank you.
Why aren't they ripping anything from Rescue Bots? Because Rescue Bots has kind of had a proven track record of being good, being engaging, and being fun.
And adults are interested in the characters as well. Like, I would
what else they're interested in?
What?
The theme song.
Shut your mouth, you filth pile.
If they made $130 masterpiece version
I'd buy it. I'd buy a Blaze.
You didn't even know what I was gonna say.
I'm already nodding, just, oh yeah.
A chase. If even they did like a super stylized statue, I would buy it. It would sit in my floor and I would be like, I don't have a surface for this, but
Cat
you know
would rub
what?
on it, and put its scent on it, spray it, and you'd be like, no, not on my boulder. My limited boulder with his easel set.
But like, we don't see that. And I think the problem is because you have a really good show that didn't appeal to collectors.
It has a bad rap for no reason
Yeah.
sometimes, and a lot of people are now giving it more chances, but I'm like, y'all should have been giving this shit a chance when it was out, fool. It was good. I didn't even know about it. I didn't even know about it until the first season was basically over, and when they announced Bumblebee was going to be in it, and I saw that on some random Tumblr post, and I literally was like, oh, I don't want to just watch the episode. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to catch up. So I literally binged the whole season in a day.
Oh my gosh.
Right off my tiny 3rd generation iPod with the cracked screen and the lumpy case. And I just sat on the couch. I was like, ooh, and I genuinely liked the show without even trying to. I was like, this is, I would watch more. And Bumblebee came and went, and I was still on that couch watching shit, let me tell you.
And the thing is I feel like it's better than anything that's come out since. Rescue Bots Academy is really good.
Rescue Bots Academy is good, however, it's definitely a little bit, I would say, dumbed down just a little bit more.
It's a little Paw Patrol.
It's kind of...
It's a little Paw Patrol.
I think it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to hit younger than Rescue Bots. But they also they follow the continuity. There's familiarity. He Waves with Blaze, Chase, and Boulder are not that much different. I mean, they're a little bit more grown. They have a different stylistic choice applied to them, which is, it's fine. You know, they don't want to leave the old aesthetic. Yeah. So they just change it a little. And that's fine, because I wouldn't say they changed it for better or for worse, but they changed it in a way that appeals to children. And people like Whirl. People like Hotshot. Hotshot is like everyone's favorite.
Medics.
Ugh. Uncle Redhead. I hate him. Nah, I don't hate him that much. You hate him more, I think. You're like, ugh. What is that?
What are you?
I don't know how to explain him. You just want to flick him. You just want to shush. You Poindexter.
But at the same time, it's putting kids into that sort of thing. So, I can't really say that Rescue Bots Academy is worse.
No, it's not worse. It's on par. Which is impressive in itself. Hasbro does not have a good track record when it comes to replicating any sort of success.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what's that. I don't know what that's about.
I mean, our idea was supposed to continue Transformers Prime. And if you compare that to Rescue Bots Academy, there's such a better, smooth transition into Rescue Bots Academy.
Cody's there. He's grown up. I mean, I would love to see the rest of the Burns family every now and then. You don't see them at all so far. Actually, as it is.
Burns dead.
Oh, God. Huh? I think he's retired. Wants to hang out with Chase some more.
In his hula
bikini. I would just like to see a little bit more. As it is, I haven't seen the second half of season 2 because I don't have cable and stuff anymore. I don't, and the content's a little bit out of reach, but unlike a child, I have a little bit more girth to a few more squiggles in my brain. So that I know how to get on the line and go to these certain sites that are a little bit more underground. A little bit more risky too. That's why I have a VPN. So I can hide from the hackers.
But again, RIT flopped compared to Rescue Bots Academy. And you know what? If Rescue Bots Academy keeps going, once again, we have a continuity that has managed to outlast every single show.
And is such a strong deviation from the mainstream Transformers storylines. And Prime had a chance, and it just tanked itself. I don't know. You blew it. It just shot itself in the foot because they just started paying attention to the wrong shit. And I'm like, I would have loved to see that show had a better show that, sequel show. And Bumblebee was not the best character, and that's the one they went with for a main lead. Like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Again, though, that's the every boy character. That's what they do. That's part of their marketing.
I kind of like what's his name? The voice for Wilfriedel.
Wilfriedel. He's fine. He's cool and all. I get it. I get that.
Uncle.
Funkle.
But again, we've already kind of stated the problems to things that have run alongside of Rescue Bots, even things that are in the same continuity. The fact of the matter is that Rescue Bots has managed to outlast and outshine pretty much every single one of them, which I think that within the past 10 years makes it the best media in terms of Transformers that has been released.
I feel like people really underestimate how much kids can like something. And the thing is, here we are sitting reflecting fondly on shows that came out 10, 13, 15 years ago and stuff. And I'm just wondering, will kids that are watching Rescue Bots look back on that show 10, 15 years from now and be like, oh, I would love this show. You know, I
would
love that.
welcome the nostalgia factor for Rescue Bots to see, like, oh, the Rescue Bot team now goes on Cybertron and they have to relearn how to live there. And
I mean, there's an
rescue
infinite,
units
the way
there.
that they ripped that, they just blew the universe open in a way that made it so much more cool. And there were so many people asking all these questions about, like, well, Optimus is here, but he's there, but what is he doing this? Is he also doing that and helping them? Or what are they doing? Where are they from? Are they from here? Blah, blah, like. And it's almost like because they've been given so little in terms of like universe building for Rescue Bots, though, because it has to be, you know, kind of small for kids. So they keep it on, you know, Griffin Rock. That they, you know, fans are like, oh, I bet you Heatwave is from this city or whatever. Like, they just run with it. They like it. And it's interesting because, like, there are still people that do, you know, art and writing fics and stuff like that of that property, that specific, you know, show. So it hit with adults. It's bang on, but like it hit late, and I feel like a lot of people at first were like, it's for babies. Yeah, flush it down the tubes. Yeah, and I'm like, well, damn, like just watch a little bit of it. You don't you just watch a little. You don't know. You can go ahead. Throw away 5 minutes. Who gives a shit? Yeah,
if we could say one thing is give Rescue Bots a chance. If you'd like, you can give your comments below.
Or not. We don't care. We'll get to.
We'd appreciate a like and subscribe, but no big deal if not. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
You smell like bubblegum, and it's amazing. Yay.